ए वेरी गुड डे टू ऑल। और आज हम एमसीक्यूज करेंगे टेस ऑफ द डी अर्बेवल्स की। और ये एक नॉवल है जिसको थॉमस हार्डी ने लिखा है। तो और ये कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस हैं जो एग्जाम में पूछे जा सकते हैं, तो हम कर लेते हैं इसको जल्दी से। ठीक है। इन विच कंट्री थॉमस हार्डी ग्रू। उनका वो जो मतलब इंग्लिश कंट्री बोल सकते हैं सोमरसेट। एंड उनका प्रोफेशन क्या था फुल टाइम राइटर बनने से पहले? ये थे आर्किटेक्ट अपेरेंटिस। एंड what economic period provides the historical backdrop of the test of the Abervilles? तो बोलेंगे कि लॉन्ग डिप्रेशन जो चला था और विक्टोरियन एज की ये नॉवल है। विच हार्डी नॉवल अलॉन्ग विद द टेस्ट कॉस्ट मच कंट्रोवर्सी दैट ही स्टॉप्ड राइटिंग फिक्शन। इससे पहले क्या हुआ था? जूड जूड द ऑब्सक्योर। इसमें क्यों? इसमें न्यू ह्यूमन को कॉन्सेप्ट आता है, बहुत सारी चीज़ें भी और है। In which fictional country is the test of the Oberville set? Test of the Oberville set, Wessex में। Which literary period does the test of the Obervilles belong to? It's belong to the Victorian realism. The novel's subtitles A Pure Woman Faithfully Presented. What does the subtitle challenges? Like what does it challenges the Victorian conventions of that time that viewed test as impure? And which newspaper first published the test overall in serialized version? So it is the graphic. It's the graphic. ये important question आप लोग याद रखिएगा. Who informs John Derbyfield that he is descendant from the ancient D. Aberville family? ये क्या है भी? पार्सन्स पार्सन्स टिंघम। और ये एक बार वॉक कर रहे होते हैं तभी उनको एक जेंटलमैन मिलता है, तो ये बताता है उनको व्हाट इज द नेम ऑफ द डर्बेफिल्ड फैमिली whose death sets the plot in the motion. It's प्रिंस की डेथ हो जाती है। हाउ डज द फैमिली हॉर्स डाई? फैमिली हॉर्स कैसे मरता है? इट स्टक बाय द मेल कॉट। मेल कॉट। व्हाट इज द नेम ऑफ द विलेज वेयर टेस डर्बेफिल्ड लिव्स एट द स्टार्ट ऑफ द नोवेल? क्या है विलेज का नाम? क्या है? डी Merlot. What what is the ritual? What ritual is Tess performing when the novel first introduces? Mm, she is at the May-Day fertility dance. What are the wealthy de aber de wealthy Deberwells the Tess visits actually descended from? They are from the stock family who purchased the name. What job does Tess takes at the mm, of the Aberwell's estate? She takes the tending and the false bird. And what skill does Mr. D. Aberwell's task test to perform for her bluefinches? She takes her whistling. In what location does Alec rape Tess? Alec rape करता है Tess का कहाँ पे? The Chase, the oldest road in England. What does Tess give to name to her baby? She names her baby Sarah, and Sarah dies right after the birth. And when the baby falls ill, why does the Tess baptize him herself? Because her father refuses to summon a parson. And after returning to Marlott following the rape, why does the Tess stop attending the church? Because churchgoers tears and whispers about her. So option B. At what dairy farm does Tess find work after leaving Marlott? She found Teltheops. See, tell both his. ठीक. Who is the master dairyman at Telboth is known for telling humorous stories? Is Richard Crick. ठीक. ठीक. How does the Tess first recognizes Angel Clare at Telboth? B. He danced with her in मैरी डे इवेंट। जो मैरी डे इवेंट फर्टिलिटी इवेंट हुई थी वहाँ पे एंजल क्लियर का फर्स्ट इंट्रोडक्शन होता है, नोबल इसके साथ डांस करता है। हाउ डिड द एंजल क्लियर नॉट अटेंड व्हाई डिड द एंजल क्लियर नॉट अटेंड द कैम्ब्रिज यूनिवर्सिटी? बिकॉज ही रिफ्यूज टू टेक रिलीजियस ओथ्स रिक्वायर्ड फॉर एंट्री। एंड व्हाट थ्री dairy mates at टेबल Talbothes fell in love with Angel Clare? उनका नाम बता दीजिए। इच, Marianne and Reti Priddle. How does the angel Claire initially describe Tess when he first truly notices her? A fresh and virginal daughter of nature. And what does Hardy uses to describe the melancholy that Angel observed in Tess? The ache of modernism. What Tess first tries to confess her past to Angel, what secret does she reveal instead? That she is actually D'Iberville, not Derby failed. On their wedding night, what does Angel confess to Tess before she reveals her own past? That he spent 2 days in sexual encounter with an older woman in London. What is Angel's? देखिए यहाँ पे ये करके आता है एंजल कुछ काम करके आ रहा but Tess is rendered unfaithful. What is Angel's reaction when Tess reveals her past with Alec? He is shocked and eventually separates from her. And after separating from the Tess, what country does Angels travel to? He traveled to Brazil. Merchant. What does is Hewlett tell Angel when he impulsively asks her to accompany him abroad? Mm, she tells her that nobody could love him more than Tess did. During the Angel sleepwalking episode after their wedding, what does he do with the Tess? No, he carries her to Stone Coffin in a nearby abbey. What does the episode of Angel sleepwalking reveals about her character? Because that she is truer, more loving nature emerges when her consequences ideals are suppressed. What eventually challenges Angel's mind about Tess while he's aboard? That he traveled Englishman tells him his views are narrow-minded. Angel falls ill and matures. At which bleak from does a, a bleak form does Tess work after being separated from Angel? She works at the Flintcomb Ash. What happened to the Marian by the time she works at the Flintcomb Ash? What happens to Marian? She becomes an alcoholic. When Tess walks Minster to visit the Clares, whom does she unfortunately encounter instead of Reverend Clare? Angel's brother Felix and Cuthbert, and they are least interested in Christianity. Why do Angel's brother do with the Tess walking boots anywhere they belong to her? They take them to give to the charity. And when Tess re-encounters Alec, he has become what? He has become an evangelical Christian preacher. Yes. Who converted de Iberville to Christianity, revered James Clear. At the stone mounted at the stone monument called Cross in Hand, what does Alec ask Tess to swear? That she will never tempt him again. What happens to Alec religious conversation when he meets Tess again? Mm, He abandons it and reverts to his old ways. What industrial machine dominates the threshing scene at Flintcomb Ash and symbolizes modernity's intrusion on nature? A thrashing machine with a black smoke engine industrialization को critique कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे. How does the test respond physically to Alec advances during the threshing scene? What does she slaps him across the face with her glove? What tragic family event test to return to home from Flintcomb as because her father's sudden death from the heart condition. After the John Derbyfield dies, what happens to the family? What happens to the family? The family is evicted. John because John was leaseholder. And what do Derbyfields intend to move after being evicted from the Marlot? Marlot से जाने के बाद Kingsbear, the location of the D'Urberville storm. Why does the Tess ultimately relent and go back to live with Alec? Because Alec uses her destiny's family's need against her and convinces Angel will never return. In what fashionable seaside city does Angel find Tess living with Alec? Where they find where the sand brown. So at the boarding house, the Herons. What was the name? What name is Tess registered? Boarding house में क्या? Mrs. Sorry, Miss Dearwells. Dearwell. ठीक Dearwell. ठीक. What obsession? I'm always getting this pronunciation since in eternity. This pronunciation wrong. I don't know what to do with it, but you manage it. Who observes the blood stain spreading across her ceiling and raises the alarm after Alex murder? Who is she? Miss Brooks and the landlady. The landlady. What shapes does the blood stain on the white ceiling form as described in the novel? It is from the an echo of hers. At which ancient monument do Tess and Angel take refuge before she is arrested? That is Stonehenge. What is Tess' emotional state when she is arrested at Stone? She is calm and almost glad. And what does Tess ask Angel to do after she asks her to marry her younger sister, Lisa Lou? How does the novel signal Tess' execution in the final chapter? And that is Black Hag rises from the prison. And who are the two figures watching from the hilltop in the novel's final scene? They are Angel Clare and the Lisa Lou. And how does the Hardy describes? So I think that's this enough for today, and we'll continue this MCQs afterwards.